this moment right here. Like, this is where she's like, oh, okay, well, there's something here. Welcome, class. I wanted to present this video to you since I noticed that a lot of you did like the recent Dan to Dan videos I did on the channel, which thank you for the love and support. 1,000 views, 15 comments. Appreciate it. I just finished the entire video while shitting, so thank you for that comment. I hope you had a good shit and your legs did not fall asleep. And then this video as well too. 1.9 videos. If it's meant to be, it'll be. And people were just like meant to be alone confirmed. It's like, no, that's not what it is at all. Not by any means. Lots of people said thank you. Very insightful video, but please work on this. I like your work and effort, thus I subbed, which you should do as well too. Please make more videos like this. I'm waiting for the next one. So hopefully I've slowed down my pace. I'm trying to breathe in between the things that I talk about, which if that still is not the case, let me know. But since it seems like you guys have been liking these videos a lot more of me like jumping into the computer and like reviewing the anime itself, the main thing that I'd like to bring up is where can I relieve all this stress? And it's like, I know you're in love. He says it a couple of times, I know you're in love. And she's just like, how many times you got to say that? Someone like Miss Ayaya, I'm just going to say Momo, it's easier, talking to me, that's got to be the only reason. It's just like, maybe you got the wrong idea. And this is something that I have noticed myself personally, that maybe you have as well too, is like a lot of the times we'll think that whatever somebody's saying, they're saying that because that is what we would say if we said that same thing to that person. So like if you imagine Miss Ayaya was telling like Okarun that she loves him, then that would mean that they're romantically involved or something along those lines. But it's just like, it's not that she says, it's not that I want to get chummy with you or anything. Forget all that earlier. And it's just like, this is what I'm talking about. You love the occult. And she's like, no, that's not what I love at all. Like, what are you talking about? I don't love the occult, yada, yada, yada. They get into this whole freaking mess. And this is the first time you finally get to see his eyes as well too, is like when she freaks out and actually stands up for herself, which if you have the ability to stand up for yourself because like you have clear boundaries or you have a clear understanding of who you are, then I highly recommend doing that. And also like once you do realize that like you did stand up for yourself and you're kind of walking away and like you kind of feel bad for like yelling at the person that was just trying to be nice and have friends because maybe you were the lonely person. But like if you look at this shot right here too, there's a reason why the animators did this, is like he's in the light and she's in the dark because he was being his true, authentic, genuine self, which this is a scene right here where he's talking about like his love for aliens and what he ends up going through. And you can see it at this section right here. So like when he's talking about how he wanted to find aliens and things along those lines, it's like, but you never came, no matter how much I called for you, you never showed up. And that's why it's just like all the other humans bullied me to pass their time. But the shot that he has here says courage, because a lot of the times we have courage in our life and we have to be courageous to stand up for the things that we truly believe in. Because sure, he could have gone out and been like, you know what, I don't like the occult, I don't like ghosts, I don't like any of this stuff anymore. But he even drew his little alien on the board and has the courage. And like he could have just gone out and tried to fit in like with the normal people, but he didn't. He decided that he wanted to be somebody different, which is why you see that like she's in the shadows, whereas he's not in the shadows. Like you have this completely different perspective of both of them. And that's why she ends up like, you know what? He was just trying to be a nice guy. He was just trying to like cover himself or help me out in a sense. So like, I'll be nice. I'll come back and I'll pick up his booklet because he didn't really do anything wrong. He was just excited because I ended up doing the right thing as well too, and he was getting bullied on and helping him stand up in front of his kids, which, dude, this look right here, still one of my favorite looks in the entire series. Like, she wasn't doing anything for any specific reason. She just saw him getting picked on and she was in a sour mood, so she was trying to look for a fight with these other people to, like, relieve her energy and relieve that stress because, like, at the very beginning, you even see her do that exact same thing. Like, she's very aggressive. Like, she ends up trying to take this dude down, but obviously it was for the right reasons why she was trying to take him down, because like the dude was basically like, hey, like I just want you to sleep with me, and she's like, that's not the type of woman I am. I don't want to be that type of woman. I want to be the person that can like actually have a real time long-term relationship. And that's why like this moment right here when she comes back and apologizes to Okarun and she's just like, hey, take this back. And she's like, I do believe in ghosts. And he's like, what do you mean? And then this whole relationship, dude, it's great. Like, it's just, they go on this whole spiel of like, he's laughing, she's angry. And it's just like, this is the very first time that they ever met somebody. And this is why that video that I was talking about earlier did so well, is because so many of you can resonate with this. Maybe you're already with a significant other. Maybe you have other friends. Maybe you have other people where it's just like the very first interaction or conversation that you have with that person it is something that is incredibly real and genuine and authentic, and you can just feel it from the presence and just how you interact and how you talk with each other. Because like she didn't have to come back and say sorry to him. She really didn't. And maybe you have had other people where like you came on a little bit too strong and then they projected something onto you and said all these angry, sad emotions, whatever it was, and was yelling at you this whole time. And it's just like, that's their own projection onto you. You were just the one that was on the other side of that coin. And I would always tell this to people when I was doing sales and when I was in the sales world is I would tell people like, hey, whenever somebody's rejecting you, that is not a reflection of yourself. That is a reflection of their mental state right now. And you were just the person that came along at that said time. And then you were the one that got the garbage or the dump or whatever it was, or the yelling or whatever it may be. And then what I would always do and what you can do as well too is like try to make that person better off than when you left them. So that's why like he gets a little down in the dumps and whatever it may be. And she's like, all right, I'm walking to whatever. It's like, don't talk to me like you know me. But then as soon as she says that said thing, it's just like, sorry, that was a bit much. Ends up wiping off his like little journal thing, which is great, his occult magazine. She's like, I don't believe in aliens, but I do believe in ghosts. And it's just like, there's no such thing. It's like, haha, gotcha. But it's just like, grandma's a spirit medium. And it's just like, this is so cool. It's just like the possession person goes into convulsions and they're just having a great time. Like she's trying to convince him that ghosts are real, where he's trying to convince her that aliens are real. And then they start talking like they do know one another. And then her friends end up coming down. And this is probably one of the biggest things that I have worked on for a while is like, oh, she gave up on Ken Takakura and went after an otaku, which I guess an otaku is kind of like a nerd. I don't know. I'm not a Japanese expert by any means. I just like watching anime and I think they're fun because they have stories and relations that we can relate to. It's just like, look, it's like she doesn't care what other people would think. And this is the biggest thing because beforehand, when she was going through this whole spiel of like why she likes ghosts and what happens with ghosts, like she was so concerned about what other people would think when she was doing what her grandma had told her to do, of like holding her hand over her head. And it's just like, I really hate my grandma for that because of the weird ritual the boy I liked hates me. It's just like she cared so much what somebody else thought about what she was doing when she didn't need to care about what other people thought about her, as long as she cared about what she thought about herself. And that's the biggest factor for any of us in our entire lives is in our early days, in our like early 20s, we're always too concerned with the other person's opinions, with their thoughts of what they think, of what we think that they're thinking about us, but we can never know what that other person is thinking about us. Because for all we know is like when the little boy that she had a crush on was made fun of her, for all we know, that could be that they had a crush on her, but her mind, like I was saying, is using those past experiences because like they're all laughing at her. But like think back to when you were in school. Like when I was in school, whenever I liked a girl, like what would I do? I'd kind of pick on her, or maybe I'd poke a little bit of fun or whatever it may be. Sure, maybe it might not have been the right thing, but it's like us guys, we don't really know how to flirt with women all that much, at least not in the beginning. I didn't, maybe you do. But that was always a challenging part for me. So it's just like she would get very serious about like this ritual and being outside and having other people like be so concerned about what they thought about her, but she knew that this was the right thing to do because she even said that later where she's like, she got upset, not because they said that her grandma was terrible, but it was basically because she got pissed off when somebody else made fun of her family. So it's like being able to understand why you're getting pissed off or why you're getting upset in the first place is the most crucial part in your development in life. Because if somebody else can push a button, like maybe me or another content creator, anime, as hard as this can be to swallow, it's not the anime, it's not the other person, it's you. Like you are the root of the issue. You're the root of every issue that has ever come into your life. And I did also like this small little scene, and then I'm going to continue on with what I was talking about. But like right here, right around like the 5-minute mark or so, you see one of the like the shadow moves. So like the alien was here this entire time. I didn't notice this on my first watch through, but like you can see him right there, like waiting for her to come through. But like I was saying, a lot of the times that we have in our life is it's always a proponent of what did this other person do? This other person made me feel this way. This other person made me feel a certain like made me feel upset for being who I truly was. And that's why I like how her friends say what they say right here is like, she gave up and looks like she doesn't care what other people would think. But before, that's all she cared about. That's all I would care about. Like I was like, I would care like what people would think about like this YouTube channel, or like if I got famous over this, or if I was making a certain amount of money, or if I was having conversations with certain type of people. But I'm just like, I'd rather talk with people that I enjoy talking with compared to like having to pretend to be somebody else. And that's just not me. It never really has been. It's why I always stay alone 99% of the time, but it's also why I have the community that I have on here so that we can talk about these different things and these different topics in ways that we weren't able to talk about in the first place. Because I always thought that I had to go out and like be the successful businessman, which I still do love talking about business, but it's like I also like talking about anime and trying to figure out these things and like personal development and success. So it's like I try to combine all of those into this one specific video to hopefully inspire you to realize that life is more filling and fulfilling. Because I know that when I first started, like I didn't have the courage to be like Oka Run and just like sit here and have all these other kids pick on me. Like I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to do the things that they were doing. I wanted to be a part of it. Well, also at the same time, I wanted to lead my own revolution. I wanted to lead my own groups. I wanted to lead my own people. So it's like most of the time I would just go do things by myself because I was like, well, I don't want to push this person beyond the limit because I don't know how strong they are. I don't know what they're capable of doing. Like, I don't know if they have spiritual powers or if they have any sort of gifts. But it's just like now all I can ever do is meet the person where they're at and hopefully maybe inspire them by just letting them know like, hey, I'm your friend and I can be here for you and I would do anything for you. So it's just like, don't lay a finger on her. I won't let anybody hurt her. That's when she's like, well, that's kind of I figured somebody would hurt me or whatever it may be. And it's just like, it's for her sake. If it's for her sake, I'll become a monster. And I would do the exact same thing for my wife, for any of my friends. It's like, I will happily become the monster that you need me to become to be able to protect you or help you level up in the ways that you need to level up in. Because I've gone through so much work. I've gone through so much trials and tribulations to be able to make sure that I can stand up to these aliens, to the creatures that are within us, because there's no real external stuff like there is, but there also isn't. It's kind of a trip, but it's like if you can figure out how to focus on your spiritual powers and your spiritual medium, then all of a sudden everything can start to evolve and grow in your life. If you just take a deep breath, breathe, realize that you are true and that you do have these powers that other people probably didn't acknowledge, or you maybe thought you were crazy in the first place for having these powers to begin with. But it's like everybody's special in their own unique individual way. So you just have to figure out what that unique special place is for yourself. And as you do so, you'll be able to evolve and have more friends and connect with other people. And that's why it's just like, you see Oka run because it's just like, you have to beat the crowd. He's so confident on the phone. Like he's so confident behind the screen because that's probably where he was able to make a lot of his friends. And that's where he's been able to like maybe talk with other people is like on the phone. And that's why it's just like right here. It's just like, you sure talk bluntly over the phone. Is like, is that so? He's a different person compared to like when they're over here. It's just like you have to beat the crap out of Turbo Granny. I see, then I'll head over there. And it's just like right now, please wear my clothes back home. Hold on. You won't want to control. All of this happened because of what I did. I can't get you involved in it anymore. I'll use willpower to make it to the tunnel and then it'll work out somehow. And it's just like, she's like, no, that's not what happens. What can you ask for why can't you ask for me to come with you? Because this is what low self-esteem and lack of confidence is for a person, is they don't have the conviction to ask their partner or their friend or whatever it may be to like join along, because they're just like, this person's going to abandon me like everybody else has in my entire life. So I'll just go do it on my own because I know how to survive on my own. I don't want to get hurt again. I don't want to have like this person that says that they're my friend, but then actually turn back and not be my friend. And it's just, it's a roller coaster. It has highs and lows. And it's just like, I'd rather just be comfortable where I am compared to like possibly getting hurt again. But then by being hurt, you're able to realize that you were able to feel something in the first place that helped you grow and become stronger. So it's really just a differentiating factor of what is it that you truly want. So it's like, after that experience earlier, I can't leave you alone is what Momo says. And it's just like, you would have died earlier if I wasn't around. And is it okay for you to help someone like me? And that's where she's like in shock when he says that. It's just like, what do you mean? Like, is it okay for me to help someone like you? Like, of course it is. Stuff like that is such a hassle. But she's like shocked. And that's why it's just like, she ends up coming up to him and it's just like, here, take your clothes back. And he's kind of in a shock, like, hey, come put your clothes on. Like, let's go. And then it's just, dude, it's these small little subtle things that like just make their relationship so cool. And I can understand why so many people love this anime, because it's just that like small little kick of just like, hey, it's okay, like you got this. It's like I'm an awkward fellow after all. And that's where she's like, wait, what? Please put some clothes on. If you don't, I can't bring myself to speak properly. And maybe that's why he was so much better on the phone than he was like in person. But that's where she's just like, okay. No way. Why is my heart racing? This can't be. I was just surprised because he happened to recite one of Kentaku's lines. And this is where I say, ladies, if any of you are watching this video, we do still exist. I know at the very beginning, her friends were talking about how like these type of men don't exist. It's just like right here. Dudes like that are extinct. I'm an awkward fellow after all, which I still don't know if she said that in her head. I feel like she kind of did say that in her head. But it's like dudes like that don't exist, but clearly we do. We're just maybe a little bit more reserved because we've been picked on so long, whatever it may be. So we haven't been able to truly go out there and like express ourselves in that way because like we think that you, the pretty girl, like don't talk about these things or run into ghosts or all these strange things. But then like as soon as that happens and he says his name, that's this moment right here. Like this is where she's like, oh, okay, well there's something here. And then it rolls to the credits, which this anime, you guys, it's fantastic. I'll probably do the other remaining episodes. I know I have done some clips on this anime already, but I figure it might be worth just doing another full series for each episode since you guys seem to like the last episodes of me doing this. And since I haven't got any recommendations for other animes to watch or review in these regards, I figure this might be the best route for me to take moving forward. If you made it to the end of the video, I do sell stuff. There's links down and below, There's links down below for like a t-shirt that you can buy. I think it's a pretty cool t-shirt and I designed it myself. I mean, I did design it myself. I found some stuff. It's something that I myself wear personally. And then you can also subscribe and share these videos with anybody else that you think would find this valuable because that's how we grow. That's how this community gets bigger. And I'd like to be able to see if we can reach 2,500 subs by the end of January or something like that. Like that'd be pretty sick. We'll see. That's kind of the plan. So I'm going to just try to make these videos as good as I possibly can with the information and the knowledge that I have right now. And we'll kind of see where it goes from there. But I do like the concept of this. And I actually do want to touch on this one last little thing. Do you guys know what the bananas are? Like, why are they talking about bananas? Like, what is the banana? I would like to know what the banana is. If you know what that is, just let me know. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.